Todavía está corriendo. Ahorita sí va a funcionar bien porque estoy en la facultad.
Ok.
De la mitad de 3, 2. Espera, porque no sé por qué no. Listo.
Muy buenos días, público que nos acompaña. La Facultad de Turismo y Mercadotecnia les da la más cordial bienvenida a esta conferencia especial en el marco de las actividades de nuestro 51 aniversario institucional. El día de hoy contaremos con la presencia de Markos Fragoulopoulos con el tema las nuevas tendencias de marketing desde la perspectiva europea. Nuestro invitado, Markos Fragoulopoulos, es presidente del Instituto Helénico de Mercadotecnia y miembro de la Confederación Europea de Marketing, así como jefe de Mercadotecnia Corporativa de Inter-American Insurance and Finance. Asimismo, contaremos con el apoyo de la profesora Nicky Athina Polymeri, docente de la Facultad de Turismo y Mercadotecnia, a quien agradecemos las facilidades para contar con este invitado tan especial esta mañana. Para comenzar, me permitiré dar lectura a una breve semblanza de nuestro invitado especial. Markos Fragoulopoulos ha estado trabajando en el campo de los servicios financieros desde 1990 y se dedica principalmente al campo del marketing. Ha sido gerente general de Intertrust y vicepresidente de Inter-American Finance. Durante 9 años fue miembro del consejo de la Hellenic Management Association, mientras que hasta hoy ha sido elegido presidente del Hellenic Institute of Marketing y miembro del consejo del European Marketing Confederation. Actualmente trabaja en Inter-American como jefe de marketing corporativo, teniendo la responsabilidad del marketing de todos los brands del grupo, con énfasis especial en el marketing de contenido. Es fundador de la organización sin fines de lucro de Marketing Hub. Estudió economía en la Universidad de Economía de Atenas en Grecia y tiene 2 maestrías, el MBA ejecutivo de la Universidad de Economía de Atenas y el MBA de alto potencial ACMEA de la Universidad de Francia. Con nosotros esta mañana nuestro invitado Markos Fragoulopoulos. Adelante.
Bienvenido. Welcome. Welcome to the Autonomous University of Baja California. It's an honor to have you here. And we are so looking forward to learn from you personally once again, because I had you as my director of marketing. It's more years than I want to remember.
It's not necessary to say.
When I was doing my practicas, as they say here in Mexico, my internship, and I had the luck to have you as a manager of marketing when I was still learning. So now I am teaching to my students what you taught me 15 years ago, and I'm very honored, and we are all very honored to have you to the university today to teach us something new and some more. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Nicky. Good morning to everybody. It's a great honor for me, and it's a great pleasure to be with you today. And I'm trying not to teach, but just to share and to inspire you, if it's possible, to the maximum extent, and to share my experience, my knowledge, focusing on the key hot topics of marketing today and tomorrow. And I would like to thank you, Nicky, and personally for this very, very important invitation to me and to be with you today in this conference, let's say. So thank you so much again to all of you. I would like to start and thank you for the introduction. It was really I tried to understand. I think to a great extent I could follow the introduction, and thank you so much for the pronunciation of my surname, because it's very rare somebody from another country to pronounce my surname in the right way.
Oh, no.
So,
In Mexico, everybody speaks perfect Greek. Trust me. They're very well trained.
great.
And especially
So,
Dr. Olakis is amazing.
yeah, thanks. I can start if you like, and
Yes,
start sharing my slides.
yes,
Uh, it's quite tough, trying to put in, let's say, some minutes, so many uh, things and meanings and developments. So first of all, I'd like to put in one page, on one hand side, Athens and Acropolis, and on the other hand side, Tijuana. That's a very beautiful picture of your city that Nicky provided me to last week to use it in the first slide. I'd like just to connect the two worlds. And the title of this small presentation is Marketing Moves Forward. Everything is moves forward, and marketing uh, should not just follow, but just to lead the developments in the market. So the task, it's very challenging indeed, because I should divide it in some areas, my presentation, and so I decided to have these four parts. First of all, to be on the same page, to highlight some key developments in the overall broader context of marketing, and secondly, to see what is our new role as marketeers within this new digital environment. The third is to see some key developments and trends in the market, and of course, some indicative paradigms that can highlight it a little bit, the real marketeer's job today. And last but not least, summarizing key themes regarding success in marketing. I haven't the recipe of success, but I can share with you some key ingredients of success. It's not the same, of course. It's quite impossible to find the right recipe. It's most of times it's a personal, uh, let's say, a personal trip. So let's start with the context of marketing. You know that the last 26 years, from 1994, the whole world has changed due to the internet development. That's a big change. On this slide, you can see, for instance, uh, from 1960, 1990, and today, how the world is moving. Some territories there that are very important to understand this kind of evolution. There is no doubt that we are living today, due to the empowerment of the people, in the age of customer. And there is a professor from Toronto, I think. Yes, it's underneath. Roger Martin, that said that we're living today in the customer capitalism era. There is no doubt, and particularly after the big economic crisis of last decade, we have seen consumers to have the driver's seat in the market. This combination of technology, new developments in technology, this dissemination of information, these self-directed people, self-empowered people have this amazing, tremendous impact on the markets and, of course, in our profession. So we're living in the age of customer. It's not just a verbal realization. It's the real heart of everything. People is at the center. Humans are at the center, and not just customers or consumers. Personally, I'm trying to avoid the term consumer. I'm focusing more on the customer and the people. Even a greater term is people. So the big P of marketing, there is no doubt, that is people. And what are the main drivers that are really reshaping the environment today? Everything is coming more or less from the technology side. You can see here, this is a segmentation of the forces coming from Philip Kotler, presented in the last a book named Marketing 4.0. So at the center, you have the internet. Internet is the biggest revolution after electricity, after publishing, etc., etc. It gives to everybody access to an amazing amount of information. It's the most democratic way to disseminate knowledge. It's very inclusive, rather exclusive, cultivates transparency, and of course gives a lot of power to everybody, to single persons, not only to the big organizations. Of course, technology is always the common parameter there, with developments in areas of automation, digitalization, simplicity, etc., and the social media, of course, which is the communication disruption that really cultivates connectivity, interactivity, and social conformity. I think, it's my opinion, is that the search engines and the internet represents the open information. I would like to highlight on this term. Open information is coming, is developed through internet. And social media represents the open communication. Can you imagine if you can combine this open information from internet with open communication through social media and the technology? Then you have what we used to say, the internet superstorm. And this is the superstorm that reshaping every day the world. You know the numbers, maybe we can skip them, but just to give an idea, a flavor of the numbers, the official numbers of the digital world. Last year, it's the latest, the most updated report I have in my hands in January 2020. You can see that in almost the
Message from the Hellenic Coast Guard. We remind you that due to repair law, all passengers who are on board are obligated to put on face masks.
I'm traveling, and there are some announcements regarding COVID, and I apologize for it. Give me 1 minute just to complete the announcement and to continue. And yeah. So you can see here, for instance, some numbers, and you can notice, for instance, that the mobile phone users represent almost 70% of the total population of the planet. The 60% of people in this globe where we're living have access to internet. It's huge. It's really amazing. And almost the 50% of people use the social media. So another very interesting data you can see here, for instance, by device, you can see how we're sharing content, how we're sharing the internet screens. We're using, as you can see, the majority of people are using mobile phones. So keep this very important, let's say, hierarchy in your minds, because mobile marketing is one of the most important trends and developments. It's the new norm in marketing, the mobile marketing. Why? Because people are there. Everybody among us, we're consuming several, let's say, type of information, gamification, news, sports, developments, whatever, emails, over our mobile phones, smartphones. We can discuss a lot about the numbers, but just give you another 1-2 slides on it. For instance, what is the time per day spending somebody using the internet? You can see, for instance, that on the globe, on the average, it's 6.4 hours. In your country, before COVID period, it's more than 8, as you can see here in the red cycle, it's more than 8 hours. So you can imagine as marketeers that we have theoretically a chance, window of opportunity to communicate with these people that are there, consuming screens, content, and using their mobile apps or mobile smartphones, etc. You know that the United States of the world are not the United States of America, it's the United States of Facebook. More than 2.4 billion people are connected there, etc., etc. Last but not least, in the data, which is very important, gradually, as the proliferation of advertisements, media, messages, pop-up messages, whatever, are increasing, the people feel very, very, very awkward. They would like to avoid this kind of pressure, this kind of bombarding pressure. So you can see gradually that the use of ad blockers is increasing. On average, you can see that the 50% of people have started to use this kind of services and to block the brands to advertise several messages to them. In Mexico, you can see that it is close to 50%, it's 46%. So the people are changing. Huh? There are some paradoxes that we have to manage in front of us as marketeers. And there is no doubt that the new generations, the natives with digital, etc., the millennials, they are expressing their interest in a different way. They trust different sources of information. 84% of millennials, as you can see here, they don't trust traditional advertising. And, you know, we should develop, first of all, trust with the communities, with the people. So there is a paradox indeed. From one side, you have, for instance, an abundance of information. You have an amazing amount, a mountain of information and data everywhere. On the other hand side, you can see, for instance, the people trying to find out the right sources of information. It's quite tough, even for this old woman. But everybody is there. It's going to search engines. Search engine is the open information, as I highlighted earlier on, to find the right information. But how you can manage the attention of people? Because as far as the information is increasing, the attention is disappearing. So the information abundance is equal to attention scarcity. Maybe you're aware about this new term of attention economics, which is very important because we cannot, from now on, for instance, pay for the people's attention. We should find out ways to gain the people's attention. So we cannot, it's not a hygiene way to continue bombarding people with blast of emails, with continuous push advertisements, trying to get, let's say, 1% response. So this is a new paradox. And trying to finalize the first part of my presentation and having a lot of disturbing sounds in the boat, in the ferry boat. Really sorry for this. I don't know if you are aware about the Z mode term. I will try with few words to explain this. It seems a little bit complicated, but it's not. It's the new customer journey. Let's start from on the left. Let's see, for instance, let's have an advertisement about a camera on TV or in digital. This is the stimulus. Or a close friend of yours can say, yes, I went somewhere, for instance, for vacation to Naxos Island. It was fantastic, etc., etc. This is the stimulus. This is the incentive for somebody to start thinking about the consumption of this, let's say, idea, product, service, whatever. In the past, we used to go directly for the camera to, let's say, a retailer shop, and that was the first moment of truth, the self. Then, at that point, we had a discussion with the sales representative. We had, let's say, some questions, and we were trying to get the appropriate answers from the sales representative. And if we had, let's say, convinced, then we could buy the camera, and afterwards we had the second moment of truth, that was the experience to use it. Today, and this is a continuous research from Google, the people don't follow this tradition old times route journey. After the stimulus, after the ad, everybody, almost everybody, is going to the search engines on the internet And this is the zero moment of truth. These are the initials of Z mode. And there, everybody is trying to find out the right information, to get a feedback from other peers, to read some evaluations, some feedback from other people, and afterwards they were visiting the brand's websites. So it's different this journey today because internet is everywhere. So there is no doubt. Just finishing this part, that consumers are driving business. The people are pushing us to innovate because there are so many innovators and disruptors out there. The consumers are not looking for, let's say, industry silos. They are requiring from us the same innovation that they are finding in Amazon or in Google or in Uber or wherever. The people are well educated from this kind of companies, these big dominators, digital dominators. So they are pushing us to use the same methodologies, the same experience to be offered. So consumers, there's no doubt, they need live information. They need chatting. They need even robots and advisors. They need every time to get the maximum of relevant information and content from the brands. So consumers, as I mentioned and argued before, shifts in demand. So what is the new consumer today? I think from my experience and from my let's say knowledge, this new customer paradigm has four characteristics. The first is highly informed. Obviously, we explain it very much. Secondly, due to the fact that everybody has the opportunity to compare prices, to compare products and services, to have a lot of information, people have started to be very sensitive with price, less loyal. There is no doubt in it. The majority of people are socially connected, 50% of the planet. And they have started. It's interesting that they trust the crowd. So don't uh, underestimate uh, the reviews, the evaluations, the discussions, the communities that are sharing a lot of experiences, ideas. I'm not saying the right feedback to the people, but this is the reality. And the perception is the reality always. On the other hand side, I can say that the most influential segments today are these three segments: the youth, the new guys, the digital savvy people that haven't the ability to buy, but they have the ability to influence. These are the trendsetters. Maybe a 60 years old guy in Mexico cannot use easily, let's say, the laptop and to buy motor insurance, but his son or his daughter can do it very easily. So the young people are educating the older one, the elderly society. So I can say that this segment of people are the trendsetters. During crisis, we've seen again women to have the leadership. We used to say that women are the family CFOs, chief family officers. There is no doubt that the women have a new role in the society, in combining the rational and emotional approach, balancing between the two parts of our brain, and leading the families. So never, personally, never done it, but never underestimate this role of women within the families, within the society. And of course, last but not least, the netizens. Netizens are people that are volunteers on internet. They are creating sites, they are creating blogs, they are creating amazing accounts based on their hobbies on Instagram or Facebook. They are bloggers, they are people that develop developing their personal sites with a lot of information, and they're very generous. They are disseminating content to everybody, and these are the influencers, actually, the real influencers, not the paid one. Okay, so last but not least, don't forget the factor of F. The people are influenced from friends, family, fans, and followers. The factor of F. Let's move on in the new role of marketing. Nicky, everything is okay?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
Yes, yes,
okay, thank you.
everything is okay.
Unfortunately, I cannot have on my screen you, and I suppose that the signal is okay, that you can hear
Yes,
me
yes.
clearly.
I can hear you perfectly fine, and everything is rolling perfectly fine. Thank you so much.
All right. Let's say a Greek word, ωραία. What is the new role of marketing in this amazing environment, in this physical environment? It's my favorite questions to several audiences. It's quite impossible in this conference today to ask all of you, what means marketing? Everybody believes that knows what is this, let's say, fantastic word. What means that? In few words on this slide, you can see what means. Marketing is comprised of two elements, market and ing. Market always represents the two parts of it, which are buyers and sellers. And ing represents the ever-changing market environment. Philip Kotler used to say that there is a pity thing. The markets always are moving faster than marketeers, than marketing. And this is really very challenging for all of us. And when we're saying market and buyers and sellers, there is embedded, is incorporated the concept of value exchange on a win-to-win basis. And this is the real heart of marketing, the concept of exchange on a win-win basis in an environment that is moving, is changing continuously. This is marketing. This is the term. This is the definition. This is the essence of marketing. If we can use another, let's say, type of definition, we can say the marketing job is to convert societal needs into profitable opportunities. Always. But we don't create needs. This is a myth. We create wants. That's the difference. That's the big difference. And regarding the science of marketing and the developments that we have seen there, in let's say 60s, 70s, we have seen the marketing 1.0 that was fully focused on the production. You have seen the first slides that I put in my presentation. That was the production territory, the production domination. The marketing 2.0 later on, 80s, early 90s, I can say, it was more customer-centric, indeed. Theoretically, because even today, nobody says that all the brands, or the majority of them, are customer-centric. It's still a big challenge. It's still a big challenge for everybody, for any organization and brand, for anybody to be really authentically customer-centric. The marketing 3.0 is about the human-centric. What I mentioned before, that even deeper, if you go deeper and deeper, you can see that you need to understand the real human needs, apart from the customer. Customer is a title of somebody that has bought something. But before buy something, the biggest and the most important meaning is the human entity. And the new marketing 4.0 is all about this combination of human centricity and digitalization. Because this digitalization, I can say that if I can use a metaphor, digitalization is the electricity, is the power of disruption. It's my definition, but anyway, you can understand the meaning. when we're saying digitization, it's not only about technology, it's about the output of the technology developments. So it's about this empowerment of the system, and that moves everything. That moves the innovation and more or less the disruptive information. So trying to focus a little bit on the marketing essence and the marketing science. Everybody, I think, from the audience knows very well the 4Ps. There are so many theories about 5Ps, 6Ps, physical environment, packaging, people, whatever. But everybody knows that McCarthy in 1960 developed the 4Ps of marketing model. That was the first scientific approach and the first pillars of marketing. That was between 1.0 and 3.0. Today, we're talking about the marketing mix 4.0. I can share with you two different options. One is the SAFE formula. SAFE formula is based on solution, access, value, and education. So we have replaced product, which is inside-out approach, with an outside-in approach using the customer solution. We have replaced the place with access, because today we don't have only place, we have in space in the digital. So we have replaced with a broader term, which is access. And we have replaced the price with the value, because everybody can understand that the price is a part of the total value system of a product or a service. Everybody can understand. And last but not least, the promotion, which is the traditional push, bombarding things and messages to people, does not work anymore so effectively. Always works this approach, but not effectively, not efficiently. So we have replaced this term with education, with empowerment of people, using internet techniques, content marketing, science, etc., etc. From cultural perspective, there is a more, even more sophisticated let's say, pillars model, which is the 4Cs has replaced the product or solution with co-creation, highlighting the importance of customer engagement in the real-time development of a solution. Has replaced the place and access with communities, because there you can find the new segments. You can find the people, like-minded people that believe, for instance, in well-being. If you want to sell, for instance, let's say that you want to sell a well-being app regarding nutrition, regarding exercise, regarding whatever. What Kotre says is, go to the communities that are around this big idea, this concept of well-being. This is the real access. And that is the model to be really effective and really digital. Price or value or currency. What means with the term currency? Meaning that you should have a very dynamic pricing. It's like, for instance, the tickets and when you're trying to book, for instance, not in the pandemic COVID period, before a ticket from Mexico to Greece, for instance, or wherever, you can see every day, every minute, that due to the online digital access to everybody, there is an online market demand and supply. So it's like a currency, it's like the stock exchange, that the prices are changing every time. You need to have in your products and services this kind of currency aspect, to have this kind of dynamic pricing. And Kotlin has replaced the education pillar with conversation, which is even broader. So you can see three models that actually, scientifically wise, reshaping the marketing today. This is a very complicated, but it's not. Actually, what I'm trying to share with you here is that you can see, for instance, the ideal funnel of customer, the ideal customer journey. It's not just one type of customer journeys. There are a lot. There are several different types of customers. It's not a linear model, but it's a conceptual framework just to understand what we're trying to do. Let's start from the top. The stage awareness. What is the goal there? If we are trying to sell a product, to educate people for a product, to start a conversation with people about our product. The goal at this stage is to know me. So we're using this educational type of content to know me. If we were trying to push a little bit the situation, but from a customer perspective, and to be even more attractive to them, and these people say, yes, I like this choice, we're going to consideration stage, and then we're trying to discuss with them about our different solutions. And if we're trying to go deeper and deeper and to create a lead, a person that really can express his interest for our product or service, his preference, saying, yes, I like it, I will buy it, then we should convince him about our solution, our differentiation, our key advantages. So you can see that we're using different types of content on the right-hand side, on the different layers and stages of customer journey to achieve these goals on the left-hand side, to know me, like my product, to buy my product. And afterwards, you can imagine that fewer people have already been using this funnel, customers of your brand, of any service, whatever. Then we're trying, giving them, empowering them with a lot of information, a lot of engagement with product and services info to be satisfied with these people and to try. How many people, do you know how many people on average make for an app, let's say a download? It's about 8% of the total audience. And from them, the 25% of 8%, after 1 or 3 months maximum, they stop to use it. So we can find out ways to keep this dialogue, to try and try again. And afterwards, to focus even more on the quality of loyalty, that it's very important through rewarding, through honest communication, through different loyalty schemes, to get the commitment, to say somebody, I believe, yes, I believe this brand. And the ultimate goal for a marketeer is from this true loyal audience to create advocates. And then we can use the real advocates to co-create solutions for us, to co-create ads, to co-create articles, to co-create even products, to be part of our lives. At this stage, the brand is the customer. It's not a separate type of business. It's incorporated in the soul of brand. So this is more or less the ideal funnel. And regarding every profession has a management process. The lawyers, the teachers, the mathematicians, the doctors. What is the model of our job in marketing? You can see that this is horizontally starting from the left and going to the right, the 4 areas of focusing somebody that works in marketing. Always the starting point is the research. Always. So there are people that are working on data, analytics, external, internal data, competition analysis, etc. This info, this wisdom is fueling everything regarding strategy. The segmentation of the audience, the targeting, the kind of position, the brand, all these are the elements of strategic marketing. I can say that the first 2 pillars are the strategic marketing. And afterwards, using whatever formula you like, we have the execution of marketing. The product, the place, price, promotion, or solution, access, value, etc. And of course, the management at the end of the performance. So this is more or less in one very clear picture what the marketeers do. I can share with you my very recent experience. We're in a phase of transformation in our company, and we're trying to redesign all the jobs, all the processes, all the departments, the functions, etc., to have a very open, very responsive organization. And we try to see how we can reorganize marketing, for instance. I can say that there are 3 territories that marketeers should be focused. The first is about the think territory, all the people that are analysts, mathematicians, people from quantitative or qualitative research, etc., etc. This is the think tank that creates, let's say, the wisdom, the insightful information for the rest. The other part of marketing is the doers, the people that should focus on innovation, new value propositions, on content creation, etc., etc. And the third, which is, let's say, under the title field, are the people. It's the front office of marketing. The front office of marketing is the campaigns. It's all the media, owned, paid, earned media, the websites, the landing pages, the social media. All of these are the front office of marketing. And this is the field, the people that can understand, they can decoding the information, the content, everything, and to communicate it successfully and distribute it successfully to the audiences. We're going to the next part, some key marketing trends. As a summary, not spend very much time on it. There is no doubt that we're talking about this new brave digital world. Just make a small parenthesis asking Nicky, everything is okay? You hear me?
Yes, everything is okay.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for the feedback. You can see, for instance, here 7 major trends. It's a matter of the angle that you are, let's say, analyzing the environment. Somebody, you can read a lot of papers, a lot of analysis, a lot of books about the key trends in the environment, the key developments in marketing, the big fours, Deloitte, Ernst & Young, for instance, BCG Group, etc., McKinsey, Accenture, all these companies and the specialized marketing agencies are giving their view, their perspective. From my perspective and from my experience, not just gathering the others' views, from my experience, number one is the digital world. What means that? Going back to the paradigm of the reorganization of the function of marketing in America, we decided to avoid to have the term digital marketeer, digital marketing. Somebody can say, come on, what is this? Digital marketing is on the edge. I can argue that now we're entering in the post-digital era. The post-digital era, meaning that this is the hybrid situation. All of us were physical and digital. The customers are physical and digital. We cannot have only digital marketeers in a silo or traditional marketeers. There is no traditional and digital. There is the marketing. This is the essence of everything. So we're working in a digital world. There is no doubt in it. So the customer is more, let's say, ready to see this holistic approach from our side. To use because he's using multi screens, he's using several channels, physical, digital. So he's asking for a unified, seamless experience in the physical and digital environment. So how we can combine everything? How we can integrate our efforts to have this unique, seamless experience to the people? There is no doubt that the mobile is number one channel to disseminate everything. Because all the people, almost all the people, 7% of people are going to the mobile, to the smartphone, and they're trying to get any information or to make any payment or to enjoy a little bit some rest moments, etc., etc. Leading with purpose. It sounds a little bit theoretical. There is an argument that we think here regarding the COVID, the COVID, but we should stop a little bit. Sorry for that. You know, there is always the fight between passengers regarding the usage of masks. Everywhere, in the buses, in the trains, in the in the boats. Sorry for this, but you know, sometimes
it's okay. It's all everywhere in the world, not only in Greece. Everywhere in the world, there is always.
it's amazing, Nicky. Yeah. I can understand that everybody is under pressure. There is no doubt in this situation. But on the other hand side, it's a pity, because we should follow, let's say, the scientist direction.
Rules.
Yeah, there is no doubt. Anyway, sorry for this sound. Anyway, um, what means purpose? Purpose is everything to an organization. It's a big goal. It's something. It's around people's life. It's the reason to exist. Just to give you an example, if you have a brand to manage a brand, and you discuss about the purpose of the brand, the critical question there to identify the purpose of the brand is why this brand exists. Why this company exists? Exists to make money, to create profits. This is the reason of existence. So the purpose is something bigger. It's the core differentiator. It's the meaning to exist. It's something that means something bigger to people's life. It's about the authenticity of the brand. It's like a stick. It's a stick that connects the hearts and the emotions of people within the organization, the employees, for instance, outside the organization. Okay. So this is even more important today within this very new, unknown environment. How social responsible, for instance, is a company, is a brand? Is this it's a part of the purpose to give to the society. It's not a program CSR. I'm not talking about programs. I'm talking about the real mission of a company, of a brand, of an organization. What is the purpose of the organization that you're studying there? You should identify what is your personal purpose. It's not only about organizations. It's not only about companies. It's not about commercialization things. It's about you. People, there is no doubt, should be at the center again and again. There is another paradox. As the technology drives everything, the need to be more human, to be more customer and people-centric is even more important. The fusion in the new business blend. What means that? It means that there are not today clear boundaries between the industries. An insurance company, for instance, can sell cars. A telecom can sell insurance. A retailer can sell insurance. Google is ready to sell insurance, meaning that technology empowering not only the people, but the brands to enter to new territories outside of the core, and the opposite. Somebody can say, no, I will not do it. I'm very focused on the core. Yes, don't do it. But somebody else from another industry will enter to your territory, and this brand will get a market share from you. So it's not so easy. Today, the competition is not in the industries. It's very important what I'm saying now. The competition is not defined within the territory of an industry. It's defined within a territory, a broader territory of ecosystem. We don't know who is the next competitor. We don't know that. Customer engagement experience, you can imagine it's imperative. And the content, we used to say, is the new currency that connects all the parts of the puzzle. Just to give you two paradigms. Let's say that we are working in a company that selling insurance like our case. Let's see how we can use the content, because it's not a generic term. It's very important term. Just to say that Bill Gates, at the end of 90s, when he made some new announcements about software, about new developments, etc., he mentioned that don't focus so much on technology. From now on, the content is the king, because technology is something like how can I say, a glass without something inside. The wine or the water is the content. It has no any kind of use. A glass without something inside. Can you imagine a website without content? can you imagine social media channels without continuous updating, relevant, useful, authentic content? So let's go back to the paradigm. We say, for instance, that we would like to go to this funnel that I presented to you earlier on and say, look, guys, I will try to touch people that really like to be healthy. Let's develop, as an insurance company, not an insurance product brochure, but a healthy eating book. And I'm communicating this over the Facebook with the appropriate search engine optimization. I have developed, you can see here, for instance, a landing page describing this new initiative and saying, guys, look, if you go to my landing page and you put your data there, your contact data, and you can get this guide, the health eating guide. If you can disseminate your personal contact details with me, and this is the payment, quote it, to get there and download the guide. And then we're creating, when somebody do that, we're creating a lead, a candidate customer. Lead means candidate customer. And we're starting to nurturing these relationships, sending newsletter, for instance, relevant to this. And after that, we're trying to see through the analytics what kind of articles this person is reading, what kind of links uses, etc. And then through the customer analytics can understand that this guy is a parent with 3 kids, for instance, because always he is downloading articles regarding the family, the needs of the family, and then I'm ready to say, look, this guy is probably a hot lead for me because I can retouch him and send him a very customized proposal with a kind of discount. And then somebody from them says, yes, I like this proposal and they would like to discuss it with an agent. Then we have developed a hot lead, a warm lead that really wants to go further, going down, has the desire to buy. We are distributing this lead, hot lead, to the intermediaries and sales advisors, and some of them are converted to customers. This is the way that they are doing the job. Within the COVID, we ran at the heart of quarantine. We ran a very integrated campaign, only focusing on the key areas of concerns of people concerns. How we can, let's say, inform people, how we can empower them to be connected with us and with the community, and how we can support them within their houses to be more creative. So we develop a lot of content in several areas: prevention guides, videos, psychologists, nutritionists, several type of scientists join with us. We develop several formats, and we run this kind of campaign. And you can see on the right-hand side at the corner the results. Don't put a lot of emphasis in each line, just to see that we had 120,000 people, unique visitors in our site. They downloaded almost 20,000 guides. It's amazing. On YouTube, we had almost 1,800,000 views in our videos. And we built an audience with these common characteristics, using several techniques, digital marketing techniques, almost 500,000 within 2 weeks. This is the magic of marketing today. We have a lot of weapons to be very relevant, very close to our customers, very close to the community, to be really useful and to feel that we are supporting a bigger purpose than the obvious one. This is another paradigm. And going back to one of the 7 big, let's say, trends and developments that we were noticing in the market, I mentioned that there is this fusion in the new business blend. And I mentioned that a brand, for instance, can move from the core to another territory. This is a real paradigm within America. You can see 3 ellipses. On the left, you can see the core products. All the insurance companies have insurance products. Okay, in health, in motor, wherever. The other gray ellipses, you can see some other extra relevant services. For instance, we have health centers. We are offering to our people a network of clinics, owned or third parties. We are offering a kind of assistance, emergency health assistance services 24/7 using this 1010 telephone number with doctors and medical personnel specialized in several scientific territories. We
Markos? Nicky?
Yes. Yes, I think, sí, creo que ya lo perdimos, ¿eh?
Vamos a ver si se recupera.
fitness
Ahí está.
centers with nutritions, nutrition.
A ver. A ver.
Health scientists. All these people, all these
Marco,
networks.
Marco, y... Sí, lo perdimos por
Bien, vamos a hacer ahorita lo posible para recuperarlo y vamos a mantenernos aquí en la conexión. Como hay que recordar que Marcos se encuentra en un ferry, entonces hay problemas de conexión momentáneas, se está atravesando pues, por ahí el mar. Seguramente vamos a recuperarlo en un momento. Nos vamos a mantener aquí conectados.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Do you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Ναι, τώρα ναι. Yes, now we can hear
I'm
you.
very close to the end. Okay, just summarizing, this is a real paradigm of this fusion in the new business blend that they can bring outside of the boundaries of the traditional insurance, going to the
No.
relevant service and to adjacent to the very close, but not so close to the core. So all the companies in the world.
Marco, can you hear us?
Last part. Now you can hear me?
Wait, no, we are losing you and we cannot see your presentation because we had a really tough time seeing you and hearing you. It got stuck. I think
Nicky,
it's... Νομίζω ότι τώρα επανέρχεται το σήμα. I'm sorry for the Greek, everybody. Νομίζω ότι τώρα επανέρχεται το σήμα.
No problem, Nicky.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting because I can see that there is a connection, but no problem from me. Is okay now?
Now we have to put back the screen. We have to put back the presentation.
This is okay here.
Oscar, yo creo que es de tu parte, que debes regresar la presentación de Marcos.
Ok, está abierto para que él pueda compartir.
Sí.
Ok, que deje de compartir y que vuelva a compartir.
Ok.
Είχαμε τσακωμούς, Nicky, is okay?
Τώρα θα επαναφέρουν την παρουσίαση.
Αυτό είναι ένα πρόβλημα που έχει συνέβη εκεί ή είναι θέμα connection?
Connection, it's a connection problem, unfortunately.
The good thing is that we have very few slides to finalize, complete the presentation, so I'm, let's say, less anxious about the result.
Okay. do you want to start sharing your presentation again?
Sorry?
Θέλεις να βάλεις την παρουσίασή σου πάλι, να πατήσεις share screen για να ξαναεμφανιστεί την παρουσίαση?
Δεν τη βλέπετε.
Όχι, τώρα δεν τη βλέπουμε, γιατί κόπηκε τελείως το σήμα. Perdón por el griego, a todos.
Now?
Yes, now we can see, yes.
Now it's on or not?
Yes, it is on and we can move forward. Thank you so much, Mark.
Είναι καταπληκτικό, ρε φίλε.
Yes.
Νομίζω ότι πρόβλημα υπάρχει.
Είναι εντάξει, τώρα μπορούμε να ακούσουμε και να συνεχίσουμε.
Νίκη, με ακούς τώρα?
Ναι, ακούμε και βλέπουμε την οθόνη σου και όλα είναι εντάξει όπως πριν.
Δεν ξέρω, εγώ έχω τέλειο σήμα. Είμαι very well connected. Έχω 5... Okay, great. You can see the slide.
Ναι, βλέπουμε και σε ακούμε, είναι όλα όπως πριν.
That's great. We have, fortunately, few slides. So this is the end of the third part, which is about this blended situation in the business territories. You can see a practical paradigm in insurance, for instance, that we have on the left, the core insurance product. You can have the relevant services, not only insurance product, which is all about health centers, clinics, health assistance 24/7, apps, new apps with self-assessment apps, personal health record apps, etc., etc. And on the third layer, you can see the third ellipsis, which is all about the well-being. It's not about insurance there, it's about health. So we have moved the boundaries of insurance to the health territory, including exercise, fitness centers, nutritionists, mental health scientists, wellness communities, etc., etc. This is a pure paradigm, practical, real paradigm, how, let's say, a conservative, traditional company in a very traditional sector like insurance is moving outside of insurance. Okay. Last part, some few thoughts about success. There is not a recipe about success, as I mentioned at the beginning of my presentation, but of course there are some ingredients that you should, let's say, we should have in our minds and to use them. So, before, why some brands are so successful? You can see here that we have a new announcement about COVID. Anyway, I'm trying to continue. On this slide, you can see, for instance, the top brands in terms of market capitalization in 2019. On the left, you can see the bigger bubble represents the bigger market evaluation. You can see, for instance, the Apple or Google or Amazon, all these big digital dominators to be on the top. All these brands have some common characteristics. And this is a guide how you can build a successful brand, or self-brand, or organization brand, or a company brand, or a municipality brand, or a state brand. The branding is not about only consumer goods or services. Everything could be a brand. So you can see the 6 key characteristics for the success of a brand. First, physicality. Imagine a little bit the Apple, for instance, devices. Well-designed logos, fantastic taglines. Taglines meaning the key messages that they are using. The design is state-of-the-art. Flat design, new developments and design have been implemented through Apple. This is about physicality. Intellectuality is the how can I say, the left part of the brain, of the brand. A successful brand should be the thought leader in his territory, driving and leading the innovation in the industry or in the ecosystem competition environment. This is about intellectuality. The sociability meaning that you are a very, very active organization, engaging every time, 24/7, with the community, with the people, with the customers, with intermediaries, with the sales reps, listening their thoughts, their fears, listening everything and responding accordingly. Emotionality is the other part of the brain. It's like a human element. It's the brand. It's not just a generic term. There is a soul there. The emotionality is all about the empathetic skills of a brand. It's not only numbers. It's not only analytics. It's about, as we have discussed up to now, about emotions, about human characteristics of everybody. So how you can humanize a brand? This is a big discussion. How we can develop a strong personality for a brand? This is the personability characteristic. You need continuous improvement, continuously, to have a specific, crystal clear, very well communicated personality with specific personal traits. And the morality, last but not least, we need this kind of ethical marketing everywhere. We need this kind of ethical business model. These are the 6, let's say, key characteristics that drives successful brands, and these brands, there is no doubt they're there to succeed over the time. Another uncle from HBR, Harvard Business Review. This is a fantastic, actually, article about the new marketing, and this is about the think, feel, do I mentioned before. After the biggest, maybe the last year's survey that they ran across the globe, across different brands, organizations, they identified the key winning characteristics of the most successful brands. First, 3 characteristics. They are using a lot, the big data, not just for the sake of usage, but for the sake to develop big, impactful, insightful information. And they are using it continuously. It's about the think element, as I mentioned before. Second, they are really very clear in their positioning, and they have a very purposeful positioning. What means that? More clearly is this triangle on the other side, which is about a very holistic. You can say to communicate and develop the functional benefits for the customer. For example, I buy a camera. What I get from this camera? What are the technical characteristics? What are the benefits of this machine? This is the functional. The emotional part is all about emotions, how I feel, who I am, how I feel. If I use, for instance, an Apple, kind of emotion derived through the usage of this service or this product. What kind of emotions we're creating in this relationship between the brand and the consumer? And the third, which is very, very important, it's part of the value proposition. What kind of societal benefits this brand gives to the society? What kind? what is the presence of this brand in the society? So this is the purposeful position. And of course, the total unique experience. I mentioned several times, it's about the holistic approach. It's not about digital experience or physical experience. It's about physical experience. It's 360 approach. It's omni-channels coexistence experience. It's all about a seamless wow effect in our experience. Okay. I don't know if you are aware about Jim Collins. It's a great guy. He has he's the author of several books. One of the very well-known books is The Good is the Enemy of Great. It's interesting. It's very philosophical, and using let's say the Hedgecock effect, he has developed, researching and analyzing the success in several territories, industries, the last, let's say, 100 years. This model, which is not about the marketing success model, it's about you. It's about on a personal basis, let's say, what kind of key drivers can lead our success tomorrow. It's about companies, it's about departments, it's about organizations, it's about you. He says, after the analysis of this big data through the last, let's say, at least 100 years, I think he started this analysis from the official data, financial data that he had in 1920. It's almost 100 years, 100 years.
Ya le perdimos otra vez, creo, ¿eh?
Creo que sí.
Sí. A ver.
La ventaja, Nicky, es que ya estábamos cerrando, según la presentación.
Sí, está cerrando. Lo estoy marcando y no responde, que significa que no tiene conexión para nada. Déjame intentar otra vez marcarle. Es muy difícil, la verdad, esta situación.
Nicky, no te preocupes tanto, digo, creo que hasta el momento ha sido genial lo que nos ha estado compartiendo, entonces se entiende y se agradece muchísimo la disponibilidad por parte de Marco.
Sí.
Bueno, aprovecho para comentar que algunos chicos estuvieron mandándonos preguntas.
Sí, dejan unas preguntas. ¿Quieres cerrar la exposición y la presentación y vamos directamente a las preguntas una vez que regresa su conexión?
¿De acuerdo?
Sí, eso podemos hacer.
Bien, pues bueno, lo más importante de todo era que las preguntas las respondiera directamente Marco. Yo creo que sería una buena opción mandárselas y al final de cuentas vamos a presentar esta ponencia del día de hoy de nuevo por la tarde y vamos a buscar también ponerla posteriormente con subtítulos para que toda nuestra comunidad universitaria pueda tener la oportunidad de disfrutarla.
Sí.
Yo creo que ahí mismo vamos a responder las preguntas que quedaron pendientes para que la respuesta venga directamente de él. Si estás de acuerdo.
Sí. Yo creo que sí, esta sería una muy buena idea. Déjame intentar una última vez a hablar con él. Tú puedes cerrar la presentación y vamos a...
Estoy intentando cerrar la presentación de él.
Sí.
Listo.
No, no puedo.
No te preocupes, Nicky. Vamos a concluir la sesión del día de hoy, la ponencia de Marco. Creo que vamos a poder tener la posibilidad de tener esta conferencia ya con subtítulos o traducción, pero no estimo que el día de hoy vamos a poder tenerla así. Va a estar disponible de todas maneras en la página de la facultad de la grabación del día de hoy, y la próxima semana compromiso de que la puedan estar viendo con traducción o con subtítulos.
Sí.
Con esto, no sé si agradeceré muchísimo, Nicky, nos ayudes dando unas palabras de cierre.
A ver, déjame ver porque no me está mal, no.
Es que se aparece en la pantalla de Marco, pero...
Sí parece, no.
No te preocupes.
No, pero sí, él también quería
Yo sé que
él también quería responder a las preguntas de los estudiantes, definitivamente. A ver, una última chance.
¿No?
Sí, no se puede. No entran a los mensajes, entonces sí. A ver, no sé qué podemos hacer porque...
Vamos a hacer el cierre. Hacemos el cierre nada más. Vamos a agradecer a la distancia, ya que Marco pues lo perdimos en conexión. Marco por ahí nos está apoyando precisamente por conducto de la maestra Nicky, que sin duda posteriormente lo vamos a volver a tener presentándonos algún otro tema para que podamos disfrutar de él. Ojalá y que en un futuro podamos tenerlo inclusive de manera presencial en la facultad, eso sería genial. Pero de momento, la virtualidad, y ya con toda la disposición que él tuvo, pese a sus compromisos, pues estuvo compartiéndonos con nosotros, creo yo que más de una hora con un contenido bastante interesante. Nicky.
Sí, de hecho, él podría tocar muchos temas y hablar de la nueva realidad, como dice él, digital, entonces post-digital. Y es verdad, Markos Fragoulopoulos es un hombre que 15 años antes estaba hablando de la importancia de ganar un cliente y no una venta. Entonces, cuando yo estaba haciendo mis prácticas con él, 15 años antes, que estamos en la era 2.0, 15 años antes, lo estaba escuchando hasta atrás de todas las oficinas y él estaba diciendo siempre que no te preocupes por esta primera venta. Entonces, deja esta primera venta, casi como si no existe esta primera venta. Piensa a la segunda venta, porque no necesitas una venta ahora, necesitas un cliente para el futuro. Y de hecho, esta es su manera de pensar. Y esta es toda esta conocencia que nos está pasando, de hecho, hoy con su presentación. Y él está tocando muchos temas y dice que de esta época del 2.0 ya estamos en la época del 4.0 y dice que ya no hablamos de clientes, hablamos de humanos en combinación con la época digital. Entonces, como dice él, yo estoy completamente de acuerdo con esto. Es que hablamos de una era digital, post-digital, en donde viven los seres humanos con una pantalla, ¿no? En el mismo tiempo. Entonces, uno de los highlights que podemos ver de su presentación es que ya hablamos de los seres humanos y no de clientes. Luego, la otra cosa que él dijo muy bien es que brand is the customer. Entonces, la marca ya no la crean los marketers, los mercadólogos. Hablamos de una co-creación junto con el cliente. Entonces, los clientes trabajan por el contenido con la marca para crear el positioning de la marca. Y esto es genial, según yo. Porque si hablamos de content marketing, y si hablamos de contenido y si hablamos de cosas interesantes, porque al inicio de su presentación estaba hablando de cómo podemos con este océano de información, de agarrar información. Esto es lo más importante. Y está diciendo que la manera más adecuada en este caso es de co-crear con los mismos clientes, que ya no son clientes, son seres humanos, con necesidades y con gustos y todo eso. Últimamente lo que yo aquí tengo en mis notas perfectamente bien, que es un highlight y muy nuevo para mí, pero sí es una realidad si lo piensas, es que ya no sabes quién va a ser tu nuevo competidor. Y está hablando más de su empresa, donde está gerente de director, Interamérica, donde está director de marketing. Lo tengo aquí, perdón, por eso estoy perdiendo mis... Ok. Ya está intentando de conectarse para responder a las preguntas. Y lo que están diciendo con el ejemplo de la empresa de seguros multinacional, que es Interamerican, dice que ya no sabes quién es el siguiente que va a vender seguros. Entonces, tiene el ejemplo de Google, que Google va a vender seguros, está sus próximos planes. Entonces, todo el mundo ya vende seguros, justamente porque estamos en una época digitalizada, entonces todos pueden vender todo. Entonces no conoces quién va a ser su nuevo competidor. Esto para mí hoy fue súper importante, si no lo más importante, porque es verdad, si lo piensas, es verdad, no sabes quién va a vender qué. Entonces, antes estábamos hablando con todas las estrategias de Kotler, que hay que ver tus competidores y así, pero hoy, ¿quién va a ser tu competidor, verdad? Entonces, sí, sería muy interesante de preguntar estas cosas a Markos. Y ya tenemos, a ver, sí tenemos algunas preguntas, ¿verdad?
Sí, tenemos unas preguntas. Nicky, no sé si te parezca prudente, digo, creo que también por el tiempo, porque muchos de los chicos van a ingresar ahorita ya a clase o seguramente ya están en hora clase. Sí es una pena no poder dar continuidad y concluir con la presentación por parte de Markos. Sin embargo, también es un buen momento para cerrarla. Yo agradezco a la comunidad estudiantil el compromiso de que esta ponencia la vamos a tener en breve para que ustedes la puedan disfrutar y la puedan seguir de una forma más clara con subtítulos la próxima semana. El día de hoy por la tarde igual iba a estar disponible ahí en nuestro Facebook, en la fanpage. Y como bien también lo comentó Marco, no se preocupen tanto por la primera, sino por la siguiente. Es lo mismo que yo en este caso diría, ¿no? A lo mejor este fue nuestro acercamiento, ya sabemos qué es, hacia dónde va, para que el día de mañana nos pueda tener como un cliente recurrente. Nicky, muchísimas gracias por todo el esfuerzo, muchísimas gracias por tu apoyo, por el enlace. También al doctor Olague, muchísimas gracias por la presentación. Y nos vamos a despedir sin antes recordarles que la próxima semana todavía tenemos una ponencia final de lo que es mercadotecnia. Todavía va a seguir el programa con algunas ponencias respecto a gestión turística que también son de gran interés. Los invito a que el miércoles estén atentos. Vamos a traer a una persona de Volkswagen que nos va a hablar de un tema bastante relevante. En breve va a estarse publicando la información. ¿Nos despedimos, Nicky?
Sí.
Entonces voy a reservar lo de las preguntas.
You're
here.
We are gonna hang up the session because many students have classes, but we would like, I would like on behalf
I'm at the end. Yes, sorry for this inconvenience indeed. I know when the signal lost the connection, I go back to my presentation. I'm at the end, actually. I don't know if you have seen this.
Because, the thing is that we have to close the session because many students have classes and they have to go. But we would like to thank you on behalf of the university for your assistance, for your presentation, for your words. You have touched many important...
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You have touched so many... you have touched so many important things, and we will record the session. And we will post it on Facebook with subtitles, hopefully, for everybody to enjoy. Again, thank you for all the insight. It was something eye-opening. Thank you so much for being here today.
I thank you, Nicky, and all of you. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share so many things in 1 hour with a lot of obstacles, a lot of sound effects, and a lot of connections problems. But I think that the main themes, main ideas, the key directions have been communicated to some extent, and I feel very proud that I was part of this team today.
Yes, indeed. We have many highlights and a lot of food for thought. We are gonna definitely consider many things. Thank you so very much.
I'm at your disposal if you need in a second time to give any clarifications, any suggestions, any resource, let's say resources and the sources of information or whatever is needed. Please don't hesitate to contact me, Nicky, and I will continue to support and to share things with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We all appreciate it. On behalf of the university, thank you very much for being here.
So, thank you so much again.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a great day. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Have a nice trip. Bye.
Bye-bye.